Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vic Akers Wonderland. It's been a while, and just before we start, we should first and foremost condemn what has happened online to Jess Carter and those also who have been infected by the abuse. There is no room for it at all when it comes to football or sport, as well as society itself. It feels like every time we do one of these pods, I always end up having to come out with these sorts of statements, or one of us
Yeah.
does, in fact. And let's just say it just please people think before you tweet or set a press send. Um, but in a more light-hearted news, it's Euros time, which means the quarterfinals have officially finished, and as eight become four, we look back on what was a fantastic set of knockout football. The Italian Stallions chasing down the Norwegians, the England Lionesses looking to pounce on a superstar Swedish team, Spain looking to conquer Europe for the first time against the heroic of Switzerland, and who can forget the never count off the Germans as they try to leapfrog over France. It was four tasty games. I think everyone really enjoyed these games altogether. And this is what knockout football does. It's one of those where anything can happen at any time, and it just brings out a little bit more joy than just knowing that you've got an extra game after the end of it instead of at the group stage. But it has been a good amount of landmarks for this tournament. 100 goals in it, and the quarterfinal stage. That's the first time that's happened, I believe, in the Women's Euros tournament. I am joined by Lottie. What has been your favourite moment of the tournament so far?
Oh, jeez. Anything to do with Cristiana Girelli. England caused me too much stress. Yeah, no, Cristiana Girelli has been just showing her experience and who she is. She's now, I believe she's headed 5 balls across 5 different leagues plus a Euros now. So, yeah, well happy for her.
Well, it's definitely the definition of a superstar. It doesn't also shows you don't have to be that old to know you're a smart footballer to get on
The
the end
fact
of
that
these.
she's still putting them in at 38, not complaining. We could say the same about Christine Sinclair and Marta over in the NWSL.
Just imagine the scenes of what that would mean to Italy should anything happen. But Adam, what about you? What's been your favourite moment of this Euro so far?
Ooh, good question. I did enjoy going out there and drinking in the Dutch spirit. Sadly, it wasn't to be for them. But I got to look close to home. I got to look to England and seeing Michelle Adjumang come off the bench and have the heroic of heroic moments to save England's Euro campaign. That moment, that goal was pretty awesome. That was a proper, beers in the air, screaming, no way, how have we done this? And it's one of our own who's done it as well, which makes it even better. So looking forward to, digging into that and some of the other shenanigans that have happened in the knockout rounds.
I think for me, one of my favourite moments was the goal that sent Switzerland to the knockout stages. It was just Pilgrims. I love that Pilgrim. She's a fantastic player, and she's been able to show that she is a player that could potentially be one of the ones to look out for in the next couple of seasons. Wherever, if she decides to leave Roma, I think she's going to have plenty of options. But we should probably get on to the games of the tournament. And the first one, night one, Norway versus Italy. And as Lottie has just already mentioned, Shirelli, it, it was a very, very good game. I'm, to be honest, just one of those that you look at and gone, it's a surprise that it's happened, but it was really fantastic. But it was one that you go, okay, I can live with that sort of thing. So it finished Norway 1, Italy 2, but it was in the 49th minute. Italy regained the ball from Norway as Caruso finds Cantore, plays a nice low ball into the 6-yard box for Girelli to tap in. And Lottie, I think I'm going to come to you for Girelli because Girelli is your I don't know.
Current
It's your
favourite player
stuff,
at the tournament at the moment. Let's
Yeah.
just put it that way. As much as I love the England girls, I love finding it like a game where it can be like, I say neutral, but I'm already on Italy's side. Let's just put it that, because Norway have been okay, but I know the disappointment was coming. As much as I adore Frida, it's just, yeah, that game wasn't fun for it. If you're a Norwegian fan, Norwegian, can't get my words out tonight. I think for me, just seeing someone that's not in the usual quarterfinalist is really fun. I mean, you look back at Italy's records in the UEFA Championships. They've been runners up in 93 and 97, and they finished third in 1987. So this is the furthest they've been in a very, very, very long time. I have a feeling Adam's going to correct me in a second. But they've done so well this tournament. They've entertaining football. They've held Spain at 2-1. If you look at all of Spain's results, who can say they can help them at that? Apart from Switzerland, 2-0, but they didn't score. Because we all know Spain can be gotten at if you do it correctly. Because they don't keep clean sheets. They've now got 2 in 12, I believe, in the last stat I gave. Because I know the last pod it was 1 in 11.
Yeah.
So they got their first clean sheet. But yeah, no, just the way that Italy can contain teams and mop up and how do I put it? And sort of control the game. I think it's going to be very interesting when we play them tomorrow night. It is Monday evening, guys. So for us when we're recording this, so I am going to refer to it as tomorrow.
Adam, just thoughts on the goal itself?
Yeah, deserved. Really good. It was the pace down the wing, get the delivery in, and it says Girelli's the one who converted it. But we saw a bit of that, I think, in the Spain game as well. I can't remember who got the goal there, but they had a lot of. They're very good on transition, Italy. They're very good defensively, very competent, which we expect from Italians. So sort of their sort of style. And I in the first half wasn't great. Let's just put it that way. It was 0-0 at half time. But Norway, given the attacking talent they possess, and we may dig into this a bit more in a bit, on paper, you'd think would have enough. There are some star names on there, Leon and Barcelona and some of these players play for. Italy, though, were brilliant. And when they did get the goal, I was like, excellent, fantastic. This is exactly what they deserve. I thought they were rather unlucky against Spain. I thought in the first half against Spain, very credible. But no, when they went 1-0 up, I was pretty happy with them. They actually almost went 2-0 up about a few seconds later, and unfortunately was chalked for offside. It was a bit chaotic. But no, I was chuffed for Italy to go 1-0 up early in the second half. And there was nothing I'd seen from Norway to suggest that they were going to turn it around after that.
I think for me, the only real chance Norway had was, I can't remember her name, but she was a young winger. She came down the left-hand side, and I'm not sure who was in the middle. No, it wasn't her. She's a lot blonder than Gopset.
Oh, right, not the one who tried to lob the keeper from the halfway line.
No. She that one was just unreal. That was ballsy. That was ballsy, especially considering it's her first tournament. She's already got her first 2 goals, and yeah, that was really very ballsy. But there was another one where just come down the wing, crossed it to the middle of the box, and I think it's another a lot younger player. I don't recognise her at all. And it just got chipped. She just chips it wide of the goal. That's the only 2 things I saw from Norway in that game that I thought that should have went in.
Well, I'll do this as a double header, really. 57 minutes on the clock. The ball goes into the box. Norway given a penalty because Laneri is holding on Hegberg in the box. Hegger then decides, I'm going to go and have a shot. And the one thing you don't expect to happen is it goes wide. She does make up for it, though. 66 minutes on the clock. Marion Melger plays a long ball that's chased down by Hegerberg, who's just pounces on it as Giuliani is actually doubtful about whether or not to come for it. She doubts herself. She stops, and Hegerberg's thank you and just taps it past her. So Norway draw level. Just on that, Adam, just what were your thoughts going on those two instances?
Well, the first one was the penalty, which caused a bit of controversy online. But again, it's one of these weird, quaint rules that not many people know about, because the replays clearly show that Hegerberg was offside. So you think, okay, she's offside, therefore then it should be scratched. But it turns out because she wasn't at that time, she wasn't making a play for the ball effectively, and well, she was fouled before the play happened, if you will. Then the offside is irrelevant. So I was like, okay, fair enough. There is a line in the rule book which can be interpreted to that situation, and that's an interpretation. Whether you agree with it or not, it's another matter. It's subjective, but that was the ruling, and I can understand that. That's not. But yeah, when Hegerberg takes up, you said not expecting her to miss. She did miss against Switzerland in the group stage, but you don't expect her to miss twice. And she then missed in the opposite direction. And you say she makes up with it with the goal, and I know she scored against Switzerland to get the equaliser in the group stage, and I've got a lot of respect for Aga Hegerberg. I think she was an amazing striker, Ballon d'Or winner, plenty of goals for Lyon, got them Champions League, etc. But she's had I think it was an ACL. I think you're not seeing the Hegerberg.
She was also protesting for 5 years.
Exactly. So unfortunately, Norway lost Hegerberg in her prime. For her, anti-racist type of protest, and I totally understand why. But the problem is Norway have missed Hegerberg in her prime, and she's come back, and she's not the Hegerberg of old. The Hegerberg of old would have, smashed that penalty away. And I think the problem is, if the main thing is that she is basically being put in there to do the goal scoring, because there's a lot of time I've been watching Hegerberg where there's been lots of cheap turnovers of possession on the halfway line or in their own half. Hasn't really been the focal point. And then there's these penalties which he's missing, and I'm just thinking, are we nearing the end of her career? But then she goes and scores that great goal. It's a great pass from Mjelde. The keeper, it's a gaff by the keeper, doesn't abort. You have to commit to closing down the ball, or you have to stay on your line. But she goes and comes back, and it just opens the door for Hegerberg, and it's a really good finish. So but I haven't been impressed with Hegerberg, I'll be honest, at the Euros, and I do have concerns if maybe that's the last we see of her at a Euros, because I don't know if she'll ever find that red hot form. I think she got a hat trick once in one of the Champions League finals. I think it was against Barcelona. That was the sort of level she could play at, but I don't think we'll see that anymore, sadly. They get the equaliser. I'm gutted, because Norway have infuriated me at the Euros again, because they got 3 wins out of 3. They did not deserve 3 wins out of 3. 1 win maybe, but they got lucky on the other 2 games, and I was worried that they were going to do like a Gareth Southgate with England at Euro 2024 and just bluff their way all the way to a final, and it just wouldn't be fair. And I thought, well, watching Italy-Norway, I thought actually, Italy could probably do them. But then I thought that Switzerland could, and I thought that Finland could, and obviously what happened is Norway beat them. So when this equaliser happened, there was an element of, oh no, here we go again.
I know Adam's just explained it, but I've got to say, I agree with Jonathan Pearce on this subject. Justice is served that she missed the penalty. I still think she was offside regardless of that. And it should have been chalked off. So kind of justice is served. Back onto the goal. It's Ada Hegerberg. It's what we expect. It was a really, really, really nice goal. But does it really make up for that penalty miss? No. Have we known her to miss 2 penalties in a tournament? No. Well, technically, she hasn't been there to do that. But if you look across, say, a domestic tournament like Champions League,
yeah,
and that's enough.
And that just as on that one, we saw in the Champions League against Arsenal, when she started the second leg, and she wasn't effective in that game at all, really, which was it was a real shame.
I'll come to you, Lottie, for this one, because it's the very, very last kick of the game at this point. And Cantore's cross, it goes deep into the box. And it's been a bit of a specialty of the Italians. Get the ball into the 6-yard box and something special will happen. Most likely Girelli. So it's Girelli again. And it's a fantastic header, I have to say that. And as Lottie, you've already mentioned, and you've taken the words right out of my mouth, it's their first semi-finals at the Euro since 1997. I think the Italians would have been partying all the way through the night with that result.
I think you need to remember some of these players are all from the top teams over in Italy. A lot of them don't leave Italy. I can't think off the top of my head if anyone has actually left Italy, but you look at the way Cantore plays and that crossing. It's for Cristiano Girelli. It's right place, right time. I can't remember if they actually play together. I know there's someone on that national team she plays with. Can't think off the top of my head. But a lot of these girls, they know how to play with each other. I think the best part of that goal is the celebrations at the end for me, because all you see is all the subs bombing it past the manager, and his little legs can't actually keep up to go and join the celebration, which is really great. But yeah, it's nice to see a kind of underdog shine instead of the usual big names we expect to see in the semi-finals. Like obviously England, Spain and Germany are all there, but you don't expect to see Italy there. They've been a sort of sleeping giant. And I think honestly this might be Girelli's last tournament, and what a way to kind of end it at this point.
I love that goal. It's a superb. The trajectory of the cross is superb, and the header. It's a. I mean, we'll go on to the England game, but it's also bronze did something very similar, sort of like over the back post, head back across, and it's boom, goal, bang on 90, and you know that is pretty much it. And Norway are done. Watching it back, there are issues with the goal from the Norway perspective. There was a lot of raised eyebrows because Guro Reiten was made to start at fullback. This is partly because Lund, who was the main starting defender, got sent off against Iceland. So Jim Granger had to reshuffle her defence. And so Reiten, normally a winger forward, is put into defending as a fullback. I don't think it's a role she's overly familiar with, and I think it showed with the goal. But it also sort of, on a wider perspective, the selection choices for Norway were always very bizarre. We had Frida on the wing. Why? You know, you had you had wingers at 10s, you had 10s as wingers.
The thing is, she's been on the wing for... No, she hasn't. Why do I think she's been on the wing for Arsenal?
Maybe once or twice as like as an emergency player, but as Frida's staple position is in 10. But you had these weird positionings throughout of strikers as wingers and wingers as fullbacks and 10s on the wings and all just very much round hole square pegs, you know, however you say it. And it happened again. Norway have so much talent, and it's another tournament. I know they got out the group this time because the last two they didn't, but they just, for the talent they have, they're just badly unconvincing. And I was really, really glad that Italy knocked them out, because I don't think that they didn't deserve to top the group. They got lucky because they had an easy group, or the easier of the groups. If they'd been in England's group, they would have gone out, you know, third place easily, maybe even fourth. And it's worrying for Norway that they keep underachieving, because there's a lot more talent there. But there's one player I want to shout out, and I mentioned earlier, that's Gupset. Was very impressive. And when Norway played Iceland and they were leading 4-1 right to the end, and I saw that lineup, I thought that's a really good performance, a really good lineup. Keep those players and keep going. And the manager bottled it and brought the senior players back in and tried to crowbar them all in, tried to get all the big names, all the big hitters in, rather than playing the best team. They played the name, not the game, and they lost. And I'll be interested to see what happens between now and the next World Cup there, because that's not good enough for Norway.
So we'll move on to night 2 then. It was the Lionesses' turn to see if they could join Italy, or would it be Sweden in that semi-final. And I'm not going to talk about lineups. I'm not going to talk into it. I'm going to go straight into it. 2 minutes on the clock. Sweden just piled the pressure on England in the final third and win the ball off them. by the edge of the box. Stina Blackstenius placed a lovely through ball to Asllani. She's through on goal. No one's around her to defend it. Hannah Hampton opts not to go and close her down, and it's just poor defending, and England are 1-0 down after 2 minutes. Lottie, you're shaking your head. Adam, you've got a stare like you just couldn't believe it. And I imagine that was what basically everyone's emotions was at home. What was going on?
I could believe it because this is exactly what I thought would happen. So I was more like a, yeah. That was pretty much my stance. I don't know what Lottie's was.
To be honest with you, you look at that back line and you know exactly where Sweden are going to go, because Leah Williamson did not know whether to do her job or cover for Jess Carter. And I don't stand with any of the racist abuse that she got, but if you're going to target someone and pull England apart, it's going to be Jess Carter, unfortunately. That's where you're going to go. You're going to find the weak. If you know the weak link, you're going to target them. And I don't like saying next Jess Carter is an invaluable player, but in this instance, when you've got Stina Blackstenius and Asllani coming at you, that's what happens.
It was noted that this tactic had been done before in the Conti Cup final when Arsenal played Chelsea, that Stina intentionally, they got a press sorted so that they would force the Jess Carter to be the defender playing out, because they knew that that would be a weakness for Chelsea, and it did feel the same here. But yeah, I had my misgivings of Carlton defence. I've had that long before the tournament. I went into this tournament saying England will go out on quarterfinals and penalties. That was my prediction. It's in writing. I read it in my preview. I said England, partly because the Netherlands last tournament under Serena Wiegman was the Olympics before she left and came to England, and they went out on the quarterfinal at the quarterfinal stage on penalties to America, to the US. So, and since England and Netherlands trajectories have sort of been the same, I was thinking, well, that's the natural progression of how it's going to end. And also the fact that I don't believe that we will retain the Euros, and thought that will probably be the logical exit point. So we're going 1-0 down early on with the high press, pacey, a bit like with what France did to us, jittery at the back. I was not surprised in the slightest. I just thought that this was playing out exactly the way I thought we did. I thought our defence was poor against France. I thought we got away with it in Netherlands because they didn't test us anywhere near enough, and Wales just didn't have the quality to do so. That being said, Wales did actually score a goal against us, so they were able to exploit some vulnerabilities, but nowhere near like France and certainly Sweden in those opening minutes. So I think the shock was more that the early nature of the goal, the fact that it was pretty much straight from the kickoff. And in fact, I think there had been a scare. I think a few seconds earlier, I think Jess Carter had missed a pass or misplaced a pass across the back line. And it was a bit of okay. And they just didn't learn. And it's Carter with the pass. It's a poor pass to Walsh. Walsh is obviously going to have to try and miscontrols it. And then it's a quick turnover. And fair play to Sweden. They worked that moment so quickly and so ruthlessly. And it's a goal against us. And it was deserved.
24 minutes on the clock. Owen plays a through ball for Stina Blackstenius to chase. What does Stina Blackstenius do? She beats Jess Carter once again with ease. Almost like she wasn't even having to put the afterburners on. She just blasted past her without much of an issue. It was like she didn't even have to muscle her that hard to even win the ball off her. And Stina Blackstenius scoring in a one-on-one situation. How many times have we said this as an Arsenal fan, that this is what Stina does? Although most of the times, the last time she was through and through against an England goalkeeper, she went and hit it wide. And that was against Mary Earps, for those that were wondering.
Yeah, that was very. It's different times.
I think initially when you look at the build-up of that, the initial pass from Zigotti, I think that's what she's got on her shirt.
Yeah.
It's actually just perfectly pinpointed into Stina, which is the normal service she normally receives at Arsenal when we have a one-on-one situation. But I know I said this in the WhatsApp group to you guys. But Stina Blackstenius has no excuse not to score against Hannah Hampton next season domestically. Absolutely no excuse. I don't care who's in front of her. In that situation, she has no excuse to score against Hannah Hampton. For me now, because it was an absolute brilliant goal. Hannah Hampton just left on the floor. I know I've got my Arsenal hat on and I shouldn't have my England hat on, but it was a beautiful goal at the end of the day. Hannah kind of went down, and it's just the net rippled, and that was me with my head on the table, looking at my wonderful Swedish cider, and I'm like, I'm not drinking that anymore.
The only thing with Stina is there's an argument that the longer she has to think about the strike is often to her detriment. It's if you saw that in the Champions League
Always has
final,
been.
runs from the halfway line, shoots the keeper, instinctive moment in the box, scores against Catch-a-Cola, wins the Champions League. So when I was watching a race through, I was like, well, maybe, but then as you mentioned, Matt, the way in which she just breezed past Carter, it was like watching a car crash before it happens. You could see the horror, thinking Carter's not going to get there, and she's like running through treacle. It's really concerning that the lack of pace in the defence there. And you mentioned targeting, weaknesses, the weak link and chain sweet spot, whatever you call it. I mean, however you want to dress it, visually you can see it there that unfortunately in that situation Carter was culpable. You could maybe spin it on the first goal, but second one she's been outpaced by the forward. There were some discourses about should Leah Williamson have come over, etc. But the problem is if you then drag your second defender over, you then leave a big space for another forward to run in and potentially steam to play in. So Carter as a defender has to be able to manage that situation, and unfortunately she didn't. Unfortunately Stina got the goal, put us 2-0 up. And to be honest, at that point, I was thinking, yeah, that's probably it for us. Because not as a lack of hope or anything, but just I have to look at how the game has gone so far and how we've played. And I have to sort of think about the France game where we were in a very similar situation where we were 2-0 down early on. And in fact, in that France game, we'd actually started the game reasonably well. I know we hit the bar with Hemp, but apart from that, in this game, we hadn't offered anything. Sweden were the dominant side. They were offering more threat. We should mention it should have been 2-0 earlier because Stina rounded the keeper and Leah Williams had to slide in because of I can't remember who it was, but someone played a stupid pass to Hampton. Hampton massively miscontrolled it, and Stina picked the pocket and Leah Williams had to basically save the day. So it could have been 2-0 much earlier. So nothing I see, because I was already thinking we were going to go out, there was nothing I saw in those opening 25 minutes that suggested that England had anything in the tank that they could turn us around. In fact, all I saw was Sweden could push on and make it 3 or 4-0.
So confession time, because we're going to go into the second half now. At this point, it was 76 minutes on the clock, and I went, no, forget this. I'm going to go to the shop because I needed to go and get some stuff for the school and everything. Yes, Lottie. So what happened in those couple of minutes that I was at the shop? England go and score 2 goals. Chloe Kelly's cross sees Lucy Bronze unmarked, and she, as Adam's already mentioned,
I've got a contradiction on that cross. I think she was looking for Alessia Russo, and Lucy Bronze was in the right spot at the right time for me. Because if you look at the way the ball kind of crosses over from Chloe, it kind of I think she put a little bit too much on it, and it went flying over.
I'm going to suggest a counter, actually, because if you look, Lucy's the only player that's not marked. They haven't tracked her run. So because they haven't tracked her run, she's put it in there, and she might have overhit it.
I still think Chloe was looking for Leslie. Okay.
Lucy Bronze eventually gets her goal, though. She usually gets her goals in these sorts of knockout games, doesn't she, Adam?
Yeah, scored against Sweden in the last one, last Euros, obviously, and has scored quite a few down the years. I had my misgivings over Lucy Bronze after the France game. I think she offers so much in attack, but the problem is always the moments in transition. That if she's caught too high up the pitch and you're quick with the ball, there is space to exploit. And if the defense hasn't shifted over, then France were able to get us in that way, as I said earlier in the tournament. But at the other end, this is what she offers you. She is such a threat from that situation, and it was completely out of the blue because, as I said, I think Sweden had like 2 really good 1v1s. I think Rolf had a chance that could have gone 3-0 up. Sweden should have won this game comfortably, 3-0 at least, maybe 4, before we got to the 79th minute. Now, my frustration with Serena was that she wasn't making the sub. She eventually did. Chuck the likes of Kelly on, the likes of Adjumang on. I don't think who else was. Esme Morgan came on for Jess Carter, so it was a restart for defence. We went back 3, so it was a bit more into the sort of emergency, throw an extra forward on, sacrifice a defender sort of formation switch, which we've seen before. But it was Chloe Kelly. What a ball from Chloe Kelly. And she does this. We've seen her do this for us at Arsenal at the tail end of the season. Just the delivery from out wide is just superb. And yeah, bronze at the back stick, completely unmarked. It was the first proper clear-cut chance we'd had in the entire game. Everything else had been very slow, very ponderous. Russo was getting isolated. We were getting drowned out in the midfield. Everything in the box was getting blocked. This was the first time we had a clear sight of goal. We've actually managed to carve the Sweden defence open. And in looking at the clock and you're thinking, oof, 10, just over 10 minutes, there is time to maybe get a second goal. But it would be very much, against the run of play if we did.
So as we go towards the second goal, 81 minutes on the clock, Chloe Kelly once again across into the box, and this time there's so much pandemonium in the box. Alessia Russo thinks she's got the head onto it, but it's deflected by a Swedish defender, and there must have been a moment where it's gone into slow motion for everyone, where the ball just trickles down, and who gets on the end of it? None other than Arsenal's Michelle Agiman, who just she must have hit that with perfection, because she just absolutely rockets into the back of the net, and Sweden look shocked. 2-2.
No, I think the fact that it rebounded off Magdalena Eriksson, I think that was absolutely priceless personally for Michelle to score that. I'm really happy for her. I mean, in 2021, Michelle was a ball girl for Serena Wiegmann, which is actually mental if you think about it. We're only 4 years on now. I'm the crossing from Chloe, as always, is absolutely sublime. And do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I hope we see more of that at Arsenal next season.
Yeah.
Especially with Michelle Agiman involved. Whether she goes on loan or not, I don't know, but hopefully we'll see a bit more of it. But what a way to get your first sort of tournament goal.
Yes.
Or second, whichever you want to look, whichever way.
Yeah. Second England goal, first goal of the tournament. Which I should just say quickly, we have suffered a bit of blonde ponytail syndrome. It was Beth Mead in the box. Alessia Russo hadn't actually got there. It was Beth Mead with the assist for Agiman.
Hey, they're blonde. What can I say?
They're blonde, the ponytails, but
the thing is, like, the only thing I am going to complain about is Beth Mead and Alessia Russo. They've got the same shade of blonde. So you can't.
I know it's awful.
Look at the shirt.
It's awful. They are. I mean, they are literally identical. It's only one's a 9, one's a 23. It's the only way you can tell. Love this from, as I said, this was my favourite moment of the tournament so far. Just that moment of heroism for probably the rawest player in our team. There's a bit of discourse at the moment. Should Serena bring Aggie Beaver-Jones off the bench? Should they bring Michelle Agiman off the bench? I think they're two strikers for two different situations. And I think Agiman just offers that chaotic wild card unpredictability because of her raw nature. She could do this, or she could have missed. She could be nothing, or she could do everything. I mean, we saw her do that amazing goal against Belgium. Just a few seconds into her debut, she just said, touch volley, top bins. This was even better. It's through the legs of the keeper. It's just over 100 seconds after the first goal. It was very much like when Chloe Kelly got those two crosses in against Real Madrid at the Emirates Stadium, and just like that, the deficit's been wiped out and it's level. I was screaming after that one, because, as I said, I'd been writing our obituary long before the tournament started, and had been adding bells and whistles to it after the France game, and then promptly had to shred it after the Netherlands game. So I was retrieving this one from the waste paper basket, and then had to discard it again when we went to 2-2. I'll end the extended metaphor there. A brilliant moment, and at 2-2 you think, and I think at 2-2, I mean, I said I thought at 2-2 was going to go to penalties. I didn't think we were going to win, but I thought at that moment, that when it got to 2-2, I thought this is going to go all the way to penalties. I don't see us getting a win. We almost did. There was, I think, a counter that Michelle Agiman led, and Russo could have passed it over to Kelly for the right at the end. But I was pretty confident that it was going to be a shutout in extra time, and we would go all the way to pens.
the only real talking point was Leah Williamson having to go off for Neve Charles in extra time. During this time, I think there was about 4 or 5 players that ended up getting injured. Well, I exaggerated a little bit. Hannah Hampton ended up with something up her nose, let's say that, and playing with one
She had a
nostril.
nosebleed.
Yeah, nosebleed. Lucy Bronze having to do a self up because Leah Williamson was actually being treated by the physios, so she decided self-treatment. And then we've later found out through Rachel Brown Finesse that this was a common practice when Lucy Brown's originally started, that they basically taught themselves because they either didn't have a physio or there was a lack of physios at the time. So maybe that's something that the clubs are going to look at next season in pre-season. But the penalties, I think there's no exaggeration into the penalties themselves. This one was horrific, and from your shake of head, Lottie, it was really terrible. It wasn't one of those ones that you think, yeah, that was a good shout.
The quality, I've seen better quality penalties than these women, and they've. I know this is going to sound really horrible, but this is why the men who don't watch women's football on a regular basis have criticised and gone in on the women's that quarterfinal on them. And I know they can do better, but I just did. That was the most stressful penalty shootout I've ever watched. And as for Jennifer Falk, she can take a bow. She's never played outside of Sweden. And she stopped the European champions from scoring several times. Don't know what she was doing with her penalty when it went over. I'm sure Elton John and Rocketman have got the ball somewhere. But I just, she's if she's not bought in this year by a WSL club or an NWSL club, I will be very surprised if she's still at Hucken next season, because she is an absolutely brilliant goalkeeper. I will say this: Hannah Hampton needs to start writing things down and sticking them to the bottle like she did. Because I was like, hang on a minute, where's the note? The note we normally see. There was no note on her bottle. Whereas you look at Jennifer Fox, she had everyone written down, and that's why it took so long to get around them. I've got to say, my favourite penalty was Chloe Kelly. She got inside her head, and then that is just
massive.
Excuse my language, but the shithousery.
Housing.
It's just, it was sublime, and it's one thing. I love the fact that she belongs to Arsenal now. If she can, we see it all the time, but it's something about her in England shirt when she does that is just something special.
When it got to penalties, I was sort of trying to work out who the hitters and who the misses were. I was pretty confident with Russo that she'd score, but I was thinking...
I wasn't after that game. The amount of shots she had, I was like, she's not going to get this penalty.
But
she's not. I'm glad to be humbled.
Yeah. I was thinking, what's the narrative of the shootout's going to be? I was trying to work out who the hit. And when now Lauren James stood up, I thought, yeah, that's going to be a miss. And I thought, what's going to happen? In my mind, because I was thinking back to our previous penalty shootout, it's going to be the classic. We'll get the early lead and they'll get a save in, but then it will invert, and then we'll miss all ours and Sweden will score all theirs. And that was sort of mentally how I sort of pitched it, and it's how it was playing out. Lauren James missed, and then Beth Mead missed. But then Magda Eriksson hit the post, and that just sort of, just in the back of my head went, no, actually, hang on, maybe not. And I think she said Falk saved about 3 in a row. I think she said Greenwood, Mead, and Lauren James. Fair play to them. Get to obviously the winning kick, and I'd been thinking about this before the tournament, before the quarterfinal, which was my first ever Euros, men's Euro, which was Euro 2004, and that started with England losing 2-1 to France in their opening game. They get to the quarterfinals, they draw 2-2, they lose on penalties, and the player who scores the winning kick is the goalkeeper, Ricardo. So that's been in my mind, and when Jennifer Falk steps up to set the penalty, I was like, yeah, that's it. It's all aligned. It's all perfectly. Everything has paired exactly. And we're going out on penalties, and the keeper's going to do it. She saved 3 penalties already. She's been brilliant. She's going to score the winning kick, and we're going to go home. And she hits Rosette, and I'm like, I give up now. How can I possibly? All my predictions and all my narratives, and they've all gone out the window. On terms of the quality penalty, look, okay, you can see what I like about the quality of penalties, but for pure entertainment, this was much, much more entertaining than watching, 12 players go perfect top bin penalties, and just the monotony of that and waiting for somebody to get it slightly wrong. I'd rather have a penalty shootout of 5 saves than 5 goals, because immediately all bets are off. Once you know that a penalty is not a certainty in a shootout, then it becomes really interesting, because anyone can miss, and everyone was missing. And England should have lost it. England should have lost the game. England should have lost the shootout. England should be out. And I don't know how it's done it. I think a lot of that is on Sweden. The manager, whose name escapes me, but he said they didn't bother to practice penalties, which is just ludicrous, especially as this is a team that at an Olympic final had the winning kick on a penalty shootout to win gold, and
Adam,
they blew it.
Tony
Yeah.
Gustafsson.
Thank you. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I didn't get confused, because it's also the
Former Australian.
Yes, not him.
God.
No, Tony Gustafsson is the Australian coach. I think it's Gerhardsson. I think that's because this was his last game. Anyway, I'll have to we'll double check that. Sweden have a history of this, of doing well in the early stages and then collapsing in the knockout rounds, and another team does that as well, which we'll get to in a minute. So there's not an element of surprise that Sweden had done this. The surprise is the manner, just the collapse of this, because they should never have lost this game. England should be out. Sweden should have beaten us. They didn't. England blew, I think, all 9 lives in their possession. The Lionesses, the Cats, the 9 lives there. Luck does not cover it enough. It's just an incredible result. And you said Lucy Bronze, smashes that penalty in, and the young player at the end, I think it was, I can't remember the name exactly, Holmberg, I think it was.
Yes.
Last kick, sending the, I don't know, 18, 20-year-old, however old she is, never should be taking a kick in that situation. And it's shades of Bukayo Saka in the men's Euros final. No young player should have the press at that late stage. At that stage of shootout, a young player should have that responsibility. Lottie, I think you want to come in on that.
Yeah, I do. Didn't she? I'm sure that I heard on comms that she's just left school, and she scored her first goal in her first Sweden call up as well, if I remember rightly.
I think
what's also interesting is nobody's talking about this. Is the first time in a year Sweden have actually lost.
Yeah, I'm just going to check. Sorry, Matt.
Just going to talk about Holmberg as well. While you mentioned it, Zlatan Ibrahimovic actually talked to her afterwards, gave her a phone call, and said it's okay. Bear in mind that, Adam, you mentioned Euro 2004. Zlatan Ibrahimovic missed a penalty in that Euros as well for Sweden. So it's great to see that there are players that can sort of call these players up and say to them, it's okay, don't worry about it. They'll be in that next time. I mean, not to use the men's too much, but you look at England, what happened in Euro 2021 to what happened last year. It was basically redemption on penalties. But we shall move on to Spain winning 2-0 against Switzerland. This was really weird game, because you were expecting Spain to be all over Switzerland, and it could have been 6 or 7 sort of goals. But no, I think everyone should be really glad how Switzerland defended. They were really content, and the fact that it was only 2 instead of, as I said, 6 or 7 shows how well they did. So I'm just going to talk about the first goal. Atina del Castillo, coolly placed. It was basically just a through ball into the box in the second half.
No, don't, Matt. No, don't underplay that goal. I'm sorry. No, I've got to come in.
This is where you're going to turn around and say, "Oh no, Mateus made this lovely little flick and things like that."
No,
Lottie's laughing, by the way, for those that are wondering.
No, I'm not going to say that at all.
You can talk about the flamboyance and things like that. Just let me get through my notes. Thank you very much. Atina del Castillo just places it nice and easily into the back of the net. Lossie, I know you weren't watching. Did you manage to see any of the highlights on this one?
I could have swore Mariona missed a penalty before that happened, but
yes, she
did. I didn't want to mention it too much.
I did not. But thing is, did I know? I think the interesting part in that, as soon as that happened, if you actually watch Leah Volti, she's actually bollocking her team. Regardless if it's her girlfriend. It was such a stupid giveaway, if I'm honest with you. I don't remember the highlights, unfortunately, but that is definitely in my head at the moment.
Now you can have your talk, Adam.
Right. Okay. Firstly,
Oi,
yes.
behave, the pair of you.
Firstly, there was a penalty miss, and that was interesting because it seems to be a growing trend at this tournament. There's been a lot of penalty misses. We mentioned the Hegerberg one, then Mariona missed hers as well. So it was all very, maybe it's not just Heger, maybe it's something that's spreading. It's very, very strange. And there's another penalty miss which we'll get to later. I mean, and that's not obviously not even including the shootout misses with England and Sweden. The Castillo goal is a bit of brilliance because it's Bon Mati on the edge of the box, and it's a delicate back heel, and the vision to do it, because Switzerland's defence was superb throughout the game, just completely nullified Spain. I was really worried when they conceded the penalty in the 3rd minute, because I was saying to friends, I said, Switzerland, if they're going to get anything out of this game, they need to have the perfect, cleanest game possible. They can't make any mistakes. If Spain are going to score, it's got to be a worldie. It's got to be something just superbly brilliant that no one could defend. Don't give them anything. Don't give them opportunities with silly mistakes. And of course, they conceded penalty of 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's all over. And they, luckily for Switzerland, they missed. After that, brilliant. Bodies on the line, defensive box. There was a bit of chaos, I think, when they actually hit the post twice at the same corner. So you think they got a bit of luck. But it's what Spain have are players like Mateus and Bon Mati and Caldente, who just have that individual bit of magic, just genius, that can just pick the tightest of locks. And it's the vision that Bon Mati has is with a back to goal, to see the Castillo run up the corner right and do the back heel, and it just completely unlocks the Swiss defence. Just like that, it's gone, and Castillo is in the box free, 1v1, knocks it past the keeper, and just go, fair enough. That's just genius. And then the second goal, they actually have a brilliant goal. It's Claudio Pina, top bins, and at that point he hands up and you go,
Adam,
fair enough.
would you say Noel Marriott switched off in that moment?
For the first goal?
Yeah.
Potentially you could say that, but
Something we've seen before.
I just think that the Swiss defence just got caught cold by the pass itself, because you're thinking, where's the next pass going to be, and you think it's going to be a wall pass, but Boban's got the ball, she's going to maybe play it back out to maybe one of the midfielders. To have that imagination to do what she did, I think would catch out any defender. I think you have to applaud the forwards in that situation. Speaking of Leah Velti, there was a funny moment when Velti and Mariona, there was a tackle. I think it was Velti went or one of the two, I think it might be, went full blood on the other one, which I thought was very funny. But Velti, unfortunately, we're big fans of Velti. It's her mistake. She gives up in a 50-50, tries to play for a free kick, and it's not a free kick. And
Claudia Pini, talking about the goal.
Yeah, and we saw it against Chelsea. It was very much like against Chelsea. Just Claudia Pini can just do that, and it's all over.
This is where, though, it is a 2-on-1, and you're thinking that maybe the ref will blow the whistle on that. And unfortunately, the referee just went, no, play on.
Yeah,
and
right,
instead of Wolsey going, right, okay, and tries to put in a slide tackle or something like that to maybe close that challenge, it doesn't happen. And Pina does is what Pina has been doing over the past tournament, basically shooting just from the edge of the box, and it was a really good goal again. I would not be surprised if Pina does actually get goal of the tournament, to be honest.
Pina Galazzo.
Yes. Lottie, any thoughts on this game overall?
Yeah, I've just seen the Noel Marriott red card. I'm not impressed.
Yeah, go on, talk about the Noel Marriott red cards as well while we're here.
Selma Parallelo, you're at it again. Do you know what? She's a talent, but I was such a dislike for this girl. I don't like the way she plays football. You actually look at it and it's so soft, but the way she goes down is like, give the girl an Oscar. We don't see it very often, but she's just one of those players that she irks me. And because of that World Cup final in Australia, New Zealand, I will never ever like that girl ever again. The way she goes in, Noel Marriott does get the ball, but ever so slightly. Unless you're not watching it really like properly, you'd say she wouldn't. But she literally taps it. And some of the refereeing decisions, I mean, we had another red card in the quarterfinals. That was a red card. But this one, I am going to question, because I don't think it was necessary to send Noel Marriott off.
Not at that late stage either.
No.
There's a funny comment I saw where it said it should have gone to VAR and it should have been overturned, because the red card is given for denial of a goal scoring opportunity. And they're saying, well, Selma Pariola was running through 1v1. That's not an obvious goal scoring opportunity. There's no guarantee that she was going to score. Which I thought, oh, ha ha, very funny, bit cruel, but funny. Maritz did get sent off. It was academic by that point. I mean, the funny thing was Maritz a few seconds earlier got on an amazing run for the entire Spain team and I thought she's going to score the goal of the century here, and then obviously loses her way. We should at least give one shout out to, and that is that the goalkeeper, I want to use Peng, I think it is, the Swiss goalkeeper. Shout out to her. Brilliant game, and capped it off with a brilliant save to stop Alexia Pater scoring from a spot as well. So, again, two penalty misses in the same game. Spain missed 2 pens, and it's a good save. I don't think Switzerland, a 3-0 would have been cruel in Switzerland. It's been a great tournament from them. It's sad to see them go out. There was a really nice touch from Spain. They gave them a guard of honour at the end of the game. And I hope that whilst this is the end for Switzerland in this tournament, it is the beginning for the growth of the women's game after the tournament, because that's the more important thing, the bigger sort of narrative here. And the country's taken the really investment tournament. We've seen the attendance figures, big sellouts, record attendances. I think they've broken the records set at the from the England Euros. So brilliant effort, Switzerland, and hope this is the start of something better.
So let's get on to the France-Germany game then. And this one was, Lottie, you mentioned the red cards. This has got to be one of these oddest thing to
it's
ever
a rule,
happen.
Though. It's a rule, and it should be a rule.
Yeah.
Like you look at the goal and the way she just yanked her hair, that is denying a goal scoring opportunity in the box. Like, what are you thinking?
Before
it's just mentally insane. Sorry, go on, Matt.
I was going to ask you, Germany have had really unfortunate luck at right back. Julia Gwynn gets injured. Then your other right back comes in and gets a red card. And then the other right back, or the one who's playing as a right back, also gets a red card. Can Germany just not get any luck on that right-hand side and get someone to stay as that right back?
What was going to be interesting about this game is that Germany are a wounded animal. And that's why I think it's the only one of the games I didn't see what was coming for it. I mean, I really watched this first 10 minutes. I saw the VAR check and I looked at that and I'm like, it's going to be one of them games. I'm not watching this. And I literally switched it off because I had other stuff to do anyway. But you look at it, it's blatant. Like, the ref might not be able to see you, but hello, VAR comes into play this year. What are you doing? And it's one of the very rare calls that, I've forgotten who was on VAR. What's his name?
Jared
Gillett.
Yeah,
gets something right. And that is me massively saying he's got something right is a massive thing from there. Anybody who watches the men's sports, who knows me, I hate every single referee with a passion. And their decisions against Arsenal are always crap. Excuse my language. But he actually got this right this time. And I do feel like some people say, it's an unnecessary rule, but I do feel like it is at this point because there's a lot of girls who they've got their braids, they've got the hair out on a long ponytail, and it is something that can deny a goal scoring opportunity, as I said earlier. But I don't know what Hendrich was thinking. It's just, it's mind-boggling.
It's lunacy.
What are you doing? You're wounded. You're already in trouble facing going out. You've got no more right backs, and you could possibly go up to a team that's in top form that has no Wendy Renard, that has no Henri, and I've forgotten who else is not there.
Liz somewhere.
That's it. And they're still a very talented team, but you can't really lie on your laurels with France. We know that. Like England, we seem to struggle against France at the moment, and I fully expected France to win at that point. But the results said otherwise.
Well, when the red card happened, I mean, it's a clear red, and for me, it's a bit like the red card in the Sweden game. The defender just panicked, and the defender has just gone into instinct mode because she knows she's lost the defender. And typically, what you do is you grab the shirt. That's what always happens. And that's why you get this. But I think she's gone to grab a shirt, and she's actually grabbed the hair, and it's just she's too late realised she's pulling the wrong thing and just yanked the hair. And it's a red card. It's stupid. She's panicked. She's done something absolutely daft. And as you said, Lottie, VAR. You may get away with that in your domestic league where VAR isn't present and the ref might have missed it. You're not going to get away with it in a European tournament. And
I think
rightly sent off. Right.
It's bizarre that she tried to argue with the ref and then she tried to argue with Rebecca.
Well,
it's like, just get off the pitch.
Yeah, no.
What are you doing?
Absolutely.
Like, you've been sent off. That's it. And she's sitting there, come off. She's challenged the fourth official. I'm like, do you not know the rules? It's a minor rule, but it's there in place for women's football because of that very reason.
I don't want to attack people's like individuality because you can dress as how you want, but when your hair's like halfway down towards basically your shorts, you're inviting trouble anyway.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, that's why the rule is there. That is why that rule is there.
So it is almost like
you can't dictate how long someone's hair is, even if it is braids or weave or extensions. I am gonna go there because as a girl, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. I mean, you look at a tiny. Okay. Let's use Tina Del Castillo as an example, right? She's got a high ponytail. She's got 2 plaits. What stops anyone pulling her hair out? What stopped the Arsenal girls pulling her hair out at the Real Madrid game? At the Emirates.
I'm not asking about the. I'm saying should it be something?
I'm trying to use different players as examples of like what's stopping other people pulling their hair. Just because she's got braids in doesn't make a difference, or how long it is shouldn't make a difference.
You shouldn't expect a woman to shave off all their hair so they can play football.
I'm not suggesting any of that. I'm just suggesting because sooner or later it could be health and safety risk is what I'm suggesting. Is that bizarrely, it's something can happen and it might be the case, but it's just a suggestion to see where it went, and you're having none of it, Lottie. So fair enough.
I'm absolutely having none of it because
it's just one of those things.
The league at the hairstyles, and it doesn't happen that often. It happened to be in a massive tournament, and she's made a stupid mistake.
It's just bizarre to me if someone has a man bun or anything like that, or very long in the men's game, like someone's coming for it, and it would be the same incident.
It rarely happens. It rarely happens.
Exactly. And then with the men's, you're going to get Oscars every time. Yes. We've seen Leah Williamson thrown on her head and got up with concussion.
Let's get away from this because I think we've gone a bit too far off track, and I'm fighting a losing battle. So yes,
let's go to the goal. Let's go to the second. Let's go to the goal.
10 minutes later, this is a fantastic ball in from Clara Ball from the corner. 100 goals in a Euros. And that is Nuskin's header. It was a fantastic goal. Adam, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, brilliant header, near post flick. It caught me off guard because it's a classic case of the ball gone out of play. I went to type something down, and then suddenly you hear the noise, and there's a goal, and I have to rewind it. It's a brilliant header, set piece. France should have defended better, and this is going to lead me to the wider point. France, historically, are terrible in knockout round football, in women's football. In the Euros, in the history of the Euros, they have only ever won one knockout match. That was against the Netherlands in the last Euros. And to be honest, they I don't think it got lucky, but they struggled to beat what was a pretty average Netherlands side. Thanks.
In the last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, Daphne was having a worldie of a game. They had to rely on a penalty in extra time to get them over the line because one Dutch defender made a tired challenge at the end, and it was a penalty, and they scored it. If not, it would have been 0-0 penalties, and it would have probably gone out, which happens a lot. They've done it in multiple Euros. They've gone 0-0 to the Dutch and gone out. They've gone 0-0. I want to say to I can't remember exactly. It was either Denmark or Austria. One of the two. It was they've done it in multiple Euros where they look really good in the group stage, and they look really good in the group stage. This time around, they battered the Dutch, beat the Welsh. Deservedly beat us, got 9 points, perfect record. You think, right, finally, France are going to show us what they can do. And in this game, they completely imploded mentally. They went 1-0 up. They had the player advantage. At that point, you should win this game. Not only should you win this game, you should win this game comfortably because Germany have run out of right backs. They then lost another defender to injury. I think on about 20 minutes where they got subbed off. So they've lost the 2 starting defenders have gone. One of them is out for the rest of the tournament on a red card. So they should be there for the taking, and they didn't. They completely dropped the ball. Germany got the equaliser. And the moment Germany got the equaliser, I said, yeah, that's it. Germany are going to win this. Probably on penalties. I said before the game started, I've got a sneaky suspicion Germany's experience will trump France's talent. I think France's mistake was, and you mentioned the players earlier, Les Sommer, Henry, Renard, they lacked leaders in that situation, because France, I don't think, knew what to do. If it had been 1-0 and they'd been 11v11, I think France would have been fine. But I think they got caught out being in that position of such a great position of the deck so stacked in their favour. They didn't know what to do. And Germany's experience and the way they managed the game with 10 players for over 100 minutes was outstanding.
Thing is, you can see the defeatist attitude kind of kick in when Delphine Castorina scores. She knows she's offside instantly, and it's you can see the frustration on the face, because that goal was so beautifully set up, and then obviously the flag went up as soon as it crossed the line.
Yeah.
I kind of still hate the delays a lot, but you kind of watched sort of that was the beginning of their self-implosion.
The offside, and this is again a great thing about
minuscule.
karma.
It was so minuscule,
which I think that's for Russo. That's for Russo and Mead in our opening game. But the toe, I thought it was pretty clear cut. I thought that was pretty clear offside, and you watch it back, and it is literally the tip of the boot. It is offside. But it's just things like that started to happen. You had that offside. There was an offside in the second half for France.
Grace Euros.
Yeah, subjective.
Offside.
That was the VAR decision.
Yeah, and that was rightly offside, because the player was interfering with the goalkeeper in an offside. And you just watch it build and build and build and build and build, and thinking, yeah, this France aren't going to do it. You can just see the fluency that they played with in that second half against the Netherlands was gone. It was just chaos. And what happened to happen?
As you both decided to talk about the Guerrero VAR decision that stood, we'll go on to Nuskin having a penalty saved by Perron Marin. And to be honest, I don't know what to say about this one. So, Adam?
Poor penalty. It's the keeper goes the right way. It's a routine save, and this again feeds what we were saying earlier. There's a real bug going around about really good players and reliable players missing penalties. I thought this was going to be the moment that Germany pulled out the fire. I thought, they've been under France have dominating the ball, which you'd expect, but haven't really properly got a clear-cut moment on Germany. Certainly one that's been onside. Germany on the counter, get through. I think Selma Bakker brings the player down to Darth Chan's clear penalty, and I thought this is going to be the ultimate sort of smash and grab, you reap what you sow moment, and it's saved. And you think, oh gosh, crikey, if Germany messes up completely. It was just another twist in the tale, a really fascinating tale. A game that logic and reason says, well, France win this comfortably, but it wasn't happening, and it still wasn't happening. And France got lucky; they had the let off of that moment. And they never woke up. They just couldn't work out how to play against this German setup. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the rules that say that a team can start with a player deficit, because I think this is Germany's best performance of the tournament. And I was amazed that, considering how badly we struggled against France and how the Netherlands collapsed second half, just how the way that Germany managed to put a leash on France and tame them and deny them was, as I said before, it was an incredible performance. But I thought the penalty, was convinced Nuskin was going to score it, and that will be the goal that would decide it. But it wasn't.
I think we need to consider goalkeepers for both these teams. They're both very experienced. They've been around for a long time, and I think personally, and that's what Germany got over the line. You kind of look at the goal attempt at about 102 minutes.
Oh, the save.
And it was headed away, and it was just the way she wrapped her hand around it. I mean, goalkeepers union, what's going on through your mind at that point?
That's one of those where instincts plays a huge part of it. And fair play to, I can't remember who the defender was who got the deflection on it, but that's one of those ones where you think it's going to come, but you don't know where. And Berger does fantastically well, and that's the sort of thing that you do in training constantly. Those are the sort of things that you'll be working on. It's one of the best things a goalkeeper can do, especially now that you need to be two-footed to play out the back and things like that. You need to be working on your footwork, so having quick feet for things like that gives you such a big edge. And I think that might go down as the save of the tournament. I don't think there's an award for that though, which is a
No.
bit of a shame. But I wouldn't be surprised if Berger gets goalkeeper of the tournament off of a performance like that. So that all that does leave though is nicely wrapped it up into penalties, where let's be honest, that was probably a little bit better penalty shootout. Just to go through it all, Madri missed. No, sorry, I've gone the wrong way again. No, I haven't gone the wrong way. Oh, Madri missed, Nuskin scored, Kachuri scored, Bull scored, Mallard scored, and Katrine Berger scored, which is very unusual for a goalkeeper. Usually it does go into Rose Ed. See a lot of former Chelsea goalkeepers for that. Selma Baltimore scored, Sarah de Brit then missed, Jan Francois scored, Rebecca Nack scored, Dengala scored, Dalman then scored for Germany, Ming then scored for Germany, and Sombath with the last penalty missed, and it meant Germany went through on penalties. And Germany versus Spain. Who would have thought that at the start of the tournament?
No, not me. I thought it. Well, firstly, I thought Germany would top their group, so I thought they'd be on our side of the draw. So that's why I thought we'd lose on penalties to Germany. I thought it'd be France and Spain in the semi-finals. I really thought that seeing them in the group stage, I thought that would have been a really good game. Two really good, talented, technical teams with the flair and the brilliance of both of them. I'd love to have seen them play against each other. As I say, when it went to penalties, and especially when Germany got the early nudge, they got to go first. I was thinking, I don't think France can do this. I don't think they've got the mental capacity to do this. They've lost penalty They lost the penalties to Australia in the World Cup, we should say as well. That happened in the quarterfinals. They've lost previous penalty shootouts in the Euros in 2013 and 2009. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised. And catching Berger, the moment she made that wonder save, and then I think Mallard hit the bar right at the end, which was the last desperate player. Thought, yeah, France are going to do this. The moment when Berger makes a save of that outrageous nature, I think, yeah. And in shootouts, Berger is at her forte. She may not be great at crosses and distribution, but she's the best, one of the, if not the best shot stopper in the world. She's got the reaction, she's got the movement, the agility, and she loves. You can tell she loves penalty shootouts. She loves being the villain, if you will, of those trying to score past her. And I had every confidence that Germany were going to see that one through, and they did, and they are through. I don't know who's going to play in the semi-final. I don't know who's available now because they've lost about 4 defenders now.
Doesn't the one that got sent off for the handball come back into play? Because it's one going down.
When I was looking, I've just looked at the rules while I mentioned
it's
the one
Carlotta
match ban.
Wamser, if I remember rightly.
Something like that. Yes.
I didn't think, because some straight reds are like 3-game bans and some are 1-game bans. I
thought this one was just one because they reset after the quarterfinals.
Maybe she'll be back then for the quarterfinal. Well, for the semi-finals. I mean, they need all the help they can get, Germany, because they've lost Nuskin as well. Nuskin's suspended now for this game as well. And shout out for Nuskin for scoring her penalty in the shootout, because that's a major mental thing when you've had a duff one in the normal time to then step up and score there. And yeah, France fall short again. They've never reached a final. They've never won a trophy. They've only reached a Nations League final. It's another early departure for them. And yeah, you do scratch your head and just think, how is a team this talented not able to get over the line?
As you said earlier, there's no experience, no leadership. That's the answer for this tournament for me.
In this situation, but those players have been there in previous tournaments. They've still struggled. It's not so much this tournament. It's for year upon year upon year, dating back to 2009, potentially even earlier than that. And it's a shame, because I said there's a lot of talent in that French side, the likes of Cascarino, who I was really amazed by in this tournament, especially in that Netherlands game. I thought, what a player. Delphine Cascarino, Mary Antoinette Katoto, Grace Giaro, Melvin Mallard coming off the bench. You just think there's so much attacking talent there.
It's just something's not clicking. And
it's always in the knockout rounds, because they don't just happen to big teams, and they've flopped against the lesser sides as well on penalties. It happens time and time again, and unless that changes, they're never going to win anything, and that's a shame.
It's an inside problem for France. There seems to be a lot of infighting from what I've heard from. So we'll wait and see. It's usually that's the problem. If you're fighting, that's usually a good sign. But if you're continuing to fight and arguing with each other, then you're not going to get very well in football. Let's be honest. I've had it this season with my team where we basically been fighting against each other, and it's not nice, and not like full on punches or anything like that. Just more of like small little mini arguments or players not getting on with each other. But I digress. Spain or France, Lottie? Spain or Germany, Lottie?
I'd rather Germany at this point. Spain just need to be stopped.
Adam, Spain or France? Germany. I see. I've done it again.
I'm just going to say no. I think it's going to be an England-Spain final again. That's what's going to be. That's my prediction. England-Spain final.
Yeah.
It just
let me dream in La La Land for now.
I mean, Adidas have foretold this. We know that Russo and Bonmati will meet in the tunnel once more, and that's how it's going to play out in the final.
Oh, Bonmati's not coming to Arsenal then.
No.
I'm joking. Before any Barcelona fans,
you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Oh no! Do you know what's going through my head? That TikTok sound. Oh no! Oh no!
Clip it up. Clip this up. Put it on the old YouTube or TikTok, wherever it is. Matt said it here first.
I think. So you don't think the Italians were then?
I think Italians will give us a really good game. I think there'll be
definitely gonna be a good game. And the extra time and penalties. That's where I think that game's going.
I think extra time, but not penalties.
I would like to see the England-Italy games done within 90 minutes, just because it will give you the extra time to rest and recovery. I'd rather Spain and Germany go to extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
Because the more they have less time to recover, basically, and especially with them playing on a Wednesday, it's that little advantage that you get. So
it is. But I think Germany's experience is going to bother Spain.
That'll be what it is. If Germany's experience, as you saw against France, if they can do that against Spain, and if whatever happens, if England get through, they're playing one of the teams they've played in a previous final. So you can cut it any way you like. I mean, we've been lucky in some sense to be on the side of a draw we are on, to get Italy in a semi-final, considering the rankings at the moment, considering where we are. No disrespect to Italy, they've been amazing to get this far, and if they go through, we wish them all the best. I think that if they did beat England in a semi-final, which they could well do, it would raise massive questions on us. But because on paper we should beat Italy, on paper, but football isn't like that.
It depends who turns up on the day.
Yeah, and after the Sweden game, I don't know anymore. So,
do you think it would be goals galore like it was?
What against Italy?
Yeah. Do you think it could be like one of those 2-2 games, 3-3, or do you think
2-1?
2-1. Lottie, do you think it's going to be high scoring or
2-2? I'd say.
To a Desmond.
Desmond 2-2. In the second half.
Okay.
Chloe Kelly saved the day again with her awesome shin pads.
I think if I was to call it, I would probably go 2-1. But I have this thing where I say someone's going to score in the last minute of added time, just to bring that David Platt commentator line out. Whether it's going to be Aggie Beaver-Jones or whoever scores the last minute. I do love it when England do score one of those lovely goals. It would be nice to see Georgia Stanway on the end of the under one like she did against Spain, because she is due one at the moment. But I think we're going to wrap it up now. Quickly though, we'll wrap it up now. So you can find us at VAW Pod, and you can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow Lottie at
Lottie_AWFC on Instagram and Blue Sky.
And Adam?
You can find me at Adam_Salter4 on the Twitters, on the Blue Skies, on the Instagrams.
You can also follow me at MattLR28. That is all for the Euros. The quarterfinals has officially closed, and now only 4 remain. England versus Italy, Can the Lionesses take on the Stallions of Italy, or will the Italians get their jump into the final for the first time since 1997, as Lottie has already mentioned? Or will Spain look to seek champions of Europe for the first time? Will there be another name on the trophy as they take on the might of Germany? But never forget, don't count out the Germans. That is all from Vic Akers Wonderland.